I'm babbling, I am going to go ahead and go clean the toilet because my mom's coming and you always have an extra super Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Audra, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. And if you are new here, well, you're in for a treat. All right, so in light of everything that is going on, I'm just gonna really do a lot of things where I'm getting ready to go really nowhere. My mom's coming over, and I thought it'd be nice if I looked nice. I'm just gonna do videos and talk about stuff if that's cool with you. All right, all right. So before we actually really even get started, the first thing I want to tell you is don't knock my eyeshadow application. I do it the way that I do because I have slightly hooded eyes and a shit ton of folds which are not pulling up on this camera, but there's a bunch of folds here. I cannot blend like this or it'll just be a muddy ass mess. So that's that, and let us get started. So also everything that I'm using on my face I'm going to try to put in the description box. All right. The door is open for Bo, so you're going to hear some outdoor noise. I'm sorry. Get over it. Actually, you're probably going to like it. It's like birds chirping and stuff, so whatever. All right, so today what I wanted to talk about is the movie The Birds of Prey, The Emancipation of Harley Quinn, whatever it's a long title, unnecessarily so. If you have not seen it, I highly suggest that you leave because it's going to be a spoiler city. If you haven't seen it and want to know if you should watch it and you don't mind getting spoilers because it doesn't affect how you watch the movie, then welcome. First of all, let me just tell you. I hate it. I know, right? Right off the bat, I hate it. There's a million and one reasons. So thing one, literally could have made this movie linear. It's not a linear story. It's not told in a linear path. It actually makes me just cringe, okay? And here's the thing. You don't have to tell a story in a linear path. You don't have to. It's fine if you don't. Tarantino does it quite often where he doesn't tell a story in a linear path, and that's fine. But it's only if it's necessary, right? Or if it adds something to the movie. All right, my lids are primed. On to the movie. All right. So, number one, I didn't like that they didn't tell it in a linear path. This is like this cute little palette that I got. We're going to see how it works out today. Why the fuck not? What else did I get to do? It's by XOXO. But it's XOXO. What? So, what happens is, well, not what happens. So the number one thing I was already like highly annoyed by was the way in which they didn't tell the story in a linear path, and there was literally no reason for them not to. And it felt a lot like the real reason that they didn't tell it in a linear path. I know, I'm just gonna keep saying linear. Was specifically so that they could have Harley Quinn narrate the movie. All right, that is where my true irritation comes from and lies, and why I ended up absolutely hating it. So it starts out with Harley narrating the movie, and I was like, okay. And then it just as I was about to get into it, like the movie starts, she jumps in again and she's like, oh, let me tell you how we got here. And then it fast forwards back in time. The first time I was kind of like, all right. After like the 15th time, what felt like the 15th time, I was highly annoyed. Literally no reason for all that. Literally none. And speaking of Harley Quinn narrating the movie, she does exposition for the entire fucking thing. It's obnoxious. Like, it made me lose all interest in the film so fast because, like, it felt like, you know how somebody has seen a movie before and they're like, you have to watch this movie, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll watch it with you. And then when you're watching it with them, the entire time they're describing everything that's happening in the movie while you're watching it. That's what this felt like. Like, I don't know if they thought that everybody watching this movie was just incredibly stupid or what, but it just seemed like that's what they thought. They just seemed to think we were all really stupid because literally everything that's happening in this movie, Harley Quinn is narrating it. Everything.
Everything.
If you think I'm lying, I'm dying. Because you go watch it, she's narrating the entire movie. Oh, let me tell you why we're doing this. Let me tell you why we're doing this. Why is everybody doing this? Oh my God. It just reached a point where I was so overwhelmed and annoyed by it that by the time it got to the end, I literally gave zero, zero fucks. Like who was kidnapped and why Harley was acting this way, who the birds of prey were, didn't give a shit. Did not give a shit. It was so bad to the point where I was just like, okay. And the thing was, I didn't have to even watch it because Harley was just telling me everything that was happening. So, like, what was the point of me watching it? Like, I didn't need to see it because she was telling me. Like, she was like, oh, and then da 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 da. And then we did this. And then there's a bad guy who apparently likes to
peel off faces.
I don't really know why. And it's weird because they had this R rating, and I felt like, I don't know, it just seemed weird to me that you had an R rating so that she could say fuck a lot, but then you didn't use it to its true potential. Like, you just kind of let it sit there in the garbage. I wish I could just, if I could get a setup by my windows, guys, I'm working on it. But it just seemed like they had all of this potential to, like, really make this movie shine and pop, and they just didn't use it. They just kind of let it, I don't know. I don't know what they did. It was like, it was R-rated, I guess, so that she could curse and say fuck, and then on top of that, so that they could have a supervillain that peels off people's faces. I don't know why he's into it, but he is. And the supervillain is played by Ewan McGregor, and I honestly do not know why he made the choices he made, and there seems to be like a homosexual relationship between him and his like super goon. They don't really explain it or explore it, which that would have been interesting to me, to be honest. But they didn't really explore it at all, and it's just weird. Like, I don't know, did anybody else get that vibe when you watched it, that maybe there was like a going on? Because I really felt like there was a going on, and because it was like he was the only one who could calm him down. He was the only one who could keep him like in a good mood and would like give him all these ideas. It just, I don't know, it just seemed like there was a potential there to explore that, and then that didn't get explored, and it's never really explained why they have this like very weird relationship. And like I said, it seems like it's a homosexual relationship, which isn't the weird part. It's that they don't explain this like symbiotic relationship the two of them have. So that's weird. And then by the time, also because Harley was like narrating everything and I didn't give three shits about what was happening, by the time you get around to like the kidnapping, there's a girl who's kidnapped because she's stolen something, and that's like completely like foretold when they go back in time. It's so weird. I didn't know why they had to keep going back and forth through time like that. It was just like so unnecessary. I was just like, you guys didn't really have to do that. And they're like, but we did. And like, so that was just unnecessary to me. I was like, you guys really didn't have to go back and forth through time like this. And it just seemed like a super unnecessary step to do. Like, you couldn't just not do that. And they were like, no, we have to tell the story like this. And I was like, okay. So basically a girl has stolen a ring that belongs to some, like, the black mask dude who we don't know why he's a douchebag or why he peels off people's faces. That would have been a nice explanation as well. Like, why does he peel off people's faces? Like, what is his bag there? Like, why is that his thing? You know what I mean? Like, every supervillain has to have a reason. And listen, I get it if people watch, like, have the comic books or watch the cartoon. I'm not that bitch. I just came to watch the movie. So I just felt like there was no explanation behind the supervillain and his predilection towards cutting off faces. It was just a weird thing. And then, like, that's his henchman's job. That's the weird thing, too, is it's like, he's not really the super villain. It's like his henchman was the super villain, to be honest, because his henchman was actually the one doing the cutting off of the faces. Do you see what I'm talking about? Ooh. 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 Interesting. it's weird because like this eye looks like amazing, and then this eye looks like weird because of the lighting. Because like this is this side, and this is the natural light that's able to come in. So sorry. Yeah, so they don't really explain at all like why. And again, I think it's weird that he was the supervillain, but his henchman was the one who actually did all the face cutting off. And like, so it's weird that she was like, Black Mask likes to cut off people's faces because it seems more like his henchman liked cutting off people's faces. Like, that's just, I don't know. It just seemed like his henchman is the one who really enjoyed the cutting off of people's faces. And like, Black Mask was just there for it. He was like, okay, well, and he just ordered the face cutting off. Like he was like, yeah, cut off his face, and they were like, okay. So the girl steals this ring that belonged to a crime family that has like a bunch of money on it, I guess is the point. And we're all supposed to be like, ooh, oh my god, what? And like I was just kind of like, all right. And there's some really super awkward chick who I don't know why she's awkward at all. I got all the shadow on like one spot, so now I'm doing something weird. Um, and there's like bow and arrow chick or whatever they were calling her. Like, see, this is how much I didn't care. Like, I lost a lot of interest in this movie. But there's bow and arrow chick, and she shoots people. I guess she's the surviving daughter. Like, there's this whole relationship that they're trying to build, but I just didn't give a fuck about. Like, I was like, don't care, don't care, don't care. And it's like they did that though. They made it to where I just didn't care. Like I wanted to care when it started. I was like, ooh, this looks so good. This looks so interesting. But then it's just like they took it all away, and I was just sitting there like, oh, okay. So are we gonna? Oh no, we're not gonna explain anything there. Okay. And it's just like nothing's really explained. And then like they talk about the songbird. They talk about her mom, but you really don't know what happened there. And it's like this storyline. It's like you keep jumping into the middle of unfinished, unthought out storylines, and it's confusing. Like you're just sitting there confused AF. Let me just try to scooch in. You're just sitting there confused AF about like why, this happened and how come this is going on with this person and who was her mom? Like what? Rosie Perez is in it, and she looks really good, actually. Like, I just wanted to kind of throw that in there, that Rosie Perez was looking really good. I was glad to see her in a movie. You know what I mean? I like seeing Rosie Perez. When Rosie Perez comes around, like, I'm happy that she shows up. You know what I mean? Like, I've always had a thing where I love Rosie Perez. I think I have a girl crush on Rosie Perez. We're not going to talk about it. But it just seemed like the whole thing was just kind of going in a strange direction. I didn't get most of it. Most of it, I was just sitting there like, okay. And you get to see like a lot of people, kind of hate Harley. There's like water or something in there. There are a lot of people who hate Harley Quinn because
They do.
there's no real explanation for why everybody like other than, I mean, they kind of give an explanation as to why everybody hates Harley because essentially once it's found out that she and the Joker have broken up, it's like everybody's using this as like Harley hunting season. So they're all out to get her now, and they're all just like, yeah, now that you don't have the Joker to protect you, like we're coming to get you. Which I found odd, I guess, because I kind of still thought that like Harley Quinn had her own madness, and like from I used to watch the cartoon a lot, and I felt like Harley Quinn had her own madness, her own insanity, and was able to like come up with shit on her own. But okay, if y'all want to tell it like she was just this weak ass bitch, I guess that's why they're calling it like the emancipation. So fine. But it was just like everybody was coming for her, and they don't really do a good job on that really either to me. It's just because like some of the stuff is just like, look at my face, and it's just like there was a dude who got all tattooed, and I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like I really didn't feel like anything had happened to necessitate, I don't know. It felt like they were coming after her for shit the Joker did, but she was just there for it, and they couldn't get the Joker, so they were trying to get her. And I just didn't really enjoy that storyline much. I thought they could have just dealt without it, to be honest. Like I felt like the whole thing would have just done fine without having that storyline in there. Like, oh. And then when they would jump back and forth in time, again, it served no purpose other than to let Harley like take these like breaks. I don't know who decided they were going to do that. But it was to me, it was a terrible choice because it didn't add to the storyline. And realistically, if they had done this, like the way that I would have done it, because I'm a Hollywood director, but if I'm being honest, the way I would have done that is had one flashback where she's talking about stuff at like at the very beginning, have one of those end sequences where like there's a whole fight going and they're talking about we're gonna have to work together, and then her go, oh wait, I'm sure you're probably wondering how we got here. Let me tell you. And then start the movie in a linear path if they really wanted to go that route. Do you know what I mean? I just felt like there was a way that they could have done this. I know I'm putting concealer all over my face because we're on camera and it's different. It's different on camera than in real life. All right. In real life, I would never wear this much concealer. Real talk. So I just felt like there was just no reason for all that craziness that was going on where it was just like, let me just tell you. I'm like, please don't. Please don't tell us anymore.
Shut the fuck up, Harley.
Yeah, so today we're going to be using Screen Queen. I love this foundation. This is one of my favorites. I tend to use this for a lot of daily use. That's too many pumps. Too many pumps. We'll manage. Too many pumps. So anyhow, it gets to the end. They're all working together. We don't really care. I mean, I didn't. I was like, okay, good job, I guess. Like, to me, I just reached a point where I was like, all right, I mean, y'all do you, I guess. Like, I don't know what to tell you at this point because y'all just, this is boring. Like, I'm bored. That's literally what started to happen is I was just like, I'm bored. Is this almost over yet? And it was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. I just thought I'd check. So, I don't really know. I just, by the end of it, I was just glad it was over, to be honest. Like, I was like, thank goodness this movie is done. Like, that is how I felt about it by the end. I was just, like, really happy that it was over. And, like, Harley was winking at me. The girl stole the money, and she swallows the diamond, obviously, because swallowing a diamond is so easy. Because she gets arrested, and then there's, like, a dream team created. I don't know. It's just not, it wasn't for me. It was not for me. It was boring. It just wasn't well told. I think that they could have really, like, this is why superhero movies for women tend to, like, not do as well because of shit like this. And the sad thing was, the action sequences were amazing. Like when they were doing action, like, they were really, really good. But by the time you get to the point where you can see some action, like, you just don't care. You're like, Like, that's how I felt about it. By the time they got around to stuff, I just literally didn't care anymore. I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. Thank you for trying, though. Like, that's how I ended up feeling. I just ended up feeling very much like, thank you. So I kind of feel bad. Like, if don't spend $19 renting that on Amazon, please. Please don't. You're going to be sad about it. You're going to have a bad day. You're going to have a really bad day. You're going to be like, why did I do this to myself? Audra told me not to, and I did. I did tell you not to. You did it anyway. You did this to yourself. I can't help you. So by the end of the movie, I guess, old Black Mask, and I don't, like, he's called that, but he doesn't even really wear the mask. It's so weird. It just weirds me out. It's like, he's Black Mask, and I'm like, why? Because he wears a black mask. Well, not all the time. Like, not even all the time when he was killing people. Like, you're introduced to him not wearing the black mask, which I thought was weird. Listen to me, if you're not wearing all the blush, I don't know what to tell you, but start wearing all the blush. So yeah, I would say if I had to, like, buy something, like if I had to buy a movie on Amazon Prime to watch, I would not pick that one. It is literal garbage to me. To me. Because I think I've seen where you can do well, and this just was not done well. I just felt like it was so boring. Everything was just like boring, the house. Like, it was so boring that I was sad inside my soul. I was just like, y'all really could have done something with this, and you didn't. So I don't know. I just found it like, I don't know. That's what I'm going to say. Solidly, I would not pay $19 for that at all. So if you have seen it, let me know what you thought about it. Like, did you like it, or did you have some of the same complaints I had? I just looked at it and was like, do you think I'm stupid and that's why you're telling me everything that's happening, or what? So I guess it's just at the end of the day, I'm left wondering just what exactly it was that they were trying to accomplish. It wasn't my movie. I didn't like it, wouldn't pay for it. The other thing that I am streaming, I'm not going to go into a large amount of detail. Ooh, girl, I got to shave my face. Motorcycle. All right, so our other movie is going to be Can't Hardly Wait. I'm going to try to do like one like oldie and then one new one. I can't guarantee that every time though. Okay? Okay. That movie is from 1996. It used to be like one of my all-time favorites because listen, that movie was like back in the day with mic drop moments that don't actually ever exist in real life, which is why it's weird that people do that on Twitter and act like people stood up and clapped for them. I'm like, bitch, nobody stood up and clapped for you. Get over yourself. But for those of you that don't know, Jennifer Love Hewitt was in that movie. She just kind of stood around looking really attractive. I think like the movie kind of helped and hurt her career at the same time because it gave the illusion that like really she couldn't act. Do you know what I mean? Like she just had to stand there and be pretty. So Can't Hardly Wait is a very like oldie but goodie. It was this like a really good 90s like let's have some fun. Great music. They were fantastic. All like the punk bands of the 90s were in there, the pop punk bands, Blink 182, the other ones. So just a fun movie about a boy who loves a girl and a breakup. It had a Peter Facinelli in it. Ethan Embry was like he was the quintessential like 90s guy at the time. Like and Peter Facinelli plays like the jock, the 90s jock, you know. Just very full of himself, like football rules. There is one part of the movie, but it was very like I'm not gonna say it was okay. It was just 90s. They do use the F word in it, so there is that. They do use the F word. Um, so if you're not prepared for that, you know, some movies just don't age well because of the language that we allowed and used and didn't really take into account that it was really shitty and derogatory. Other than that, the movie's pretty good. Seth Green is in it. Clea Duvall. I'm like, Clea Duvall was in it. She's also in another one of my favorites, which I'm going to talk about next time. But she's in it. Ooh, I felt like doing the tip of my nose today, girl, and I am not sorry. Mm-hmm. But Clea Duvall's in it, and it's just really, really cute. It's a romp, you know. I like to call it a romp because it's just like, and it just has a whole, like, it's got Barry Manilow, not the actual Barry Manilow, but the theme of Barry Manilow is in there. But it's just one of those movies that makes you feel good. It's funny. There's a lot of there were so many catchlines in that movie that Seth Green had because he plays, you know, in the 90s we had this I mean we still do, but we had this whole crew of guys who thought that they were hip hop rappers and so anyway, I'm not going to get deep into that because that's a whole other mess, but so he like one of his good lines in that movie is like,
Man, why y'all gotta steal my flavor?
so because he just plays this guy who thinks that he's gonna get all these mad honeys. Oh my god, I feel so 90s talking about it. All these mad honeys. He does. He's like, I'm gonna get all these mad ass honeys, these fine ass hoes. So he plays that guy. There's a lot of people in this movie. It was so funny to watch it. Like, oh my gosh, it's so old. What is that? 20 years almost now? Let's say yes. Yes, it is 20 years. 20 years, 96 to 2006. Yeah. The movie is over 20 years old. I have survived a lot, you guys. But there are a lot of celebrities and stars in there that like you didn't know or like Jason Segel is in that movie. And at that time, nobody even really knew who Jason Segel was. But now we do. At least I hope you do. Because then otherwise it looks dumb that I'm talking about it. But Jason Segel's in that movie. It was just so fun. And then you also had what's his face? Ooh, they were brothers. Ugh. You know what I'm talking about? He was married to what's her face? Rebecca Romaine. Jerry O'Connell. There we go. I knew if I started going down the rabbit hole, I would remember the name. But anyway, Jerry O'Connell's in it and he plays like old jock. And it was so 90s because the thing about it is he brings up the idea that You know, because the whole thing is, one, it's about a love story and like finding love and all that good stuff. But there is essentially a plot point that revolves around whether like dumping their girlfriends in order to go to college and get hot college chicks. Only the other guys, his other friends, can't do it because their girlfriends are hot and they're like, bruh. He runs into like old Jock played by Jerry McConnell, who was just like, nah, man, girls in college are smart. That's what really kills me. I'm doing my makeup ass backwards today. I don't even care. But he's just like, no, man, girls in college are smart. They don't want guys like us. Guys like us are a dime a dozen. The laughs. Like, honestly, the amount of laughter I got from that movie was much needed at this point because, like, things are stressful. So it was just, I liked that a lot. I liked being able to laugh and have a good time and remember what it was like to think that, like, when Jennifer, I almost called her Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Love Hewitt has this like whole moment in the movie where she like calls out Mike and Mike Dexter and tells him what she really thinks about his punk ass. So it's funny to me because, you know, we all wanted that moment, you know? We all wanted to have that moment one time just to be able to be like, you know what? And then have everybody be like, ooh. But, you know, we don't all get that moment. So it is what it is. And it just reminded me of, like, that's how we used to think that things were. When we were young, we used to just be like, that's how you do things. You just, like, tell people off. You never did. I mean, none of us did because you couldn't. Like, no, because the other person wasn't going to stand there and let you tell them off. Do you know what I mean? So if you're looking for a feel-good romp, definitely suggest that you run in. Watch Can't Hardly Wait on Netflix. I'm streaming that. I think on Mondays I'm going to be doing that more often. I'm going to call it Makeup Monday, Makeup Movie Mondays? Makeup Movie Monday. And we're just going to hang out, talk about movies, and hopefully I will have been able to stream something that they're, you know, the theater movies that we can't go to the theater for, but now. So there's that. So yeah, Birds of Prey, don't recommend. Can't Hardly Wait, aged not as well, but still a good time. All right, so that is it, and this is the look. What movies are you guys streaming? Let me know below. I want to share. Let's hang out. Let me know what you're streaming. Let me know what you like. Let me know if there's something that you want my thoughts on. I almost watch exclusively action and horror. It's really hard for me to watch a rom-com, guys. Please don't put me through that. Please. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are being safe out there. I hope you are doing as well as you can possibly be doing with all of this mess. I will be back with another video. Let me know if you actually want to see my what's up in my cart. What's in my cart? What's up in my cart? Let me know if you guys want to see my what's in my cart video. I did film that, but I just felt weird about posting it. I don't know, because it was like a full face of luxury makeup, so I felt awkward for a second. Even though I said, stop saying you're sorry. Anyway, be safe and be kind to each other. I know in these times it's really easy to get down. Please don't let yourself get too down. And also, it's time for you to get dressed. It's time for you to get dressed. How did I know that? I know. All right, guys, I love each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day. If you have not already, please consider subscribing. It's free. It's totally free. All right, I gotta get out of here because I gotta clean the toilet. All right, guys, deuces! I honestly might have to start filming